This is USMC Saxoki, and today we're going to talk about my take on personal finance books. Let's get started. So one of my big things on this channel is talking about personal finance. Live smarter, live simpler, live with more money, right? I like to read a lot of personal finance books, and it's not to like get a book and like, oh, I'm going to follow every rule in this book and I'm going to live my life like this person does. It's not for that, because I feel like I have I have an 80% solution on good personal finance techniques. So I'm going to talk about 4 books and kind of their differences. And don't worry, it's not going to be a long video. And kind of my philosophy on personal finance books is when I read through them, first of all, you get the gist real quick. Like, is this book going to be like a step-by-step, live like a miser, don't spend your money, invest type book, or is it going to be like a rich dad, poor dad, like, are you going to learn about assets, liabilities, or is it going to be like Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover and his baby steps on how to live? So my take on those type of books, or any personal finance book, is I read them to find little tidbits here and there, because nobody is going to be able to, or most people are not going to be able to achieve the success of Robert Kiyosaki. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Or Tony Robbins or Dave Ramsey. And these guys, what we have to realize is, like, yes, they follow their own rules, but they're also award-winning authors. They have their own seminars, talk shows, YouTube channels. Like, these guys, not only do they live, they probably live like, practice how you preach, right? But they have levels of income that the average person is just not gonna see. But so that's kind of another tangent. Like, if I'm making $50,000 a month, like, yeah, I better be pretty good on personal finance. So enough ranting. So I take tidbits here and there and I apply them to my life. And a lot of times reading through these books, Rich Dad Poor Dad's a great narrative book. Like, there's not much like data per se. It's a really good narrative though. Yeah. Alright, so the first book I'm going to talk about is one I'm reading now, and it's by Tony Robbins. I've never watched Tony Robbins. I've never seen him. I know he's got something on Netflix. I'll probably watch it after I read the book. But I'm reading his book, Money, Master the Game, 7 Simple Steps to Financial Freedom. Okay? And I can tell you the gist of this book is essentially how to invest, all right? How to put your money in the market and get the best returns. That's all this is. It's not a Dave Ramsey baby steps. It's not a Robert Kiyosaki invest in real estate. What's an asset? What's a liability? It's not the book I'm reading right now, Jeff Yeager, The Cheapskate Next Door. How the average person can live very frugally and have a lot of money, essentially. His book so far, I haven't read the whole thing, is all about how to invest the best way in the market. He's essentially teaching what the super wealthy do with their money and how we can make that happen in our own lives. I like his book. I like where it's going, but it's very repetitive. It's very like, you can do this, you can do it, you can do it. Okay, we got it. Just give me the steps on what to do, kind of thing. Like, so that's Tony Robbins' Money, Master the Game, 7 Simple Steps to Financial Freedom. So yeah. Let me summarize what I would say you do. Max out get started Roth IRA with Vanguard. I do not represent Vanguard. If you put your money in Vanguard and you lose it all, it's not on me, it's on you. Sorry. But that's just who I invest with. The reason why, low fees. Low fees, invest in a S&P 500 fund and invest in their target retirement funds. Yeah, because they're going to charge you very low fees over the time that are not going to eat into your investment. Invest as much as you can. Invest in Roth. Save your money. That's really the gist of his book. All right, moving on. So next book is kind of it's a classic of personal finance, money, making money. It's Robert Kiyosaki. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And this book, to me, it's more of it opens your mind to some things, like how, like, most people are clueless when it comes to money. Financial education is not taught in schools, and it should be. And what is an asset and what's a liability? Essentially, an asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. It's way more in depth than that. Not going to get into it, but it is a classic. It's a fun read, and it's more of it's not really a toolbox type book. It's more of a open, grand concept of, hey, this is one way to get super wealthy. This is one way to avoid taxes. Robert Kiyosaki, if you haven't, look him up on YouTube. He's got some good advice, again, but it's one of those things like, if you follow his advice to a T, I think it's going to be kind of hard to achieve like the level of success and wealth that he has. But yeah, that book is more of an overarching, like themed narrative that just kind of really like clicks in your mind, like, oh, I should be doing this, or oh, I should. Whenever we're settled down somewhere, I'm going to look into buying some rental property, just stuff like that. He talks about passive income a lot and how it's the best income, which it is. It's awesome. But yeah, that's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's, if you just want like a good read and just something that'll like kind of open your mind to some different concepts about money and personal finance, highly recommended. Okay, well, I should have started this video with kind of hey, here's the order you should read these 4 books in. I would start with Rich Dad, Poor Dad, because it's a fun read, it gets your mind open to some new things. And then I would move to Dave Ramsey's book, The Total Money Makeover. I should know that. So then I would read The Cheapskate Next Door by Jeff Yeager. And then finally I would finish it up with Tony Robbins. Money, Master the Game. Idiot. So Dave Ramsey's The Total Money Makeover. He calls it baby steps for a reason. It is a step-by-step, here's what you need to do right now, today, to get out of debt, start saving, start investing, pay off your mortgage, and essentially become wealthy. His book is the clearest, most straightforward, and it's a book that, like, because of how I was brought up, I actually kind of skimmed through a lot of it. I'm like, yeah, I got it. Yeah, don't get in credit card debt. If you do have any debt, pay it off right away. Start saving money. Pay off your mortgage quickly. It's like, okay, I got this. And some things I agree with him on, some things I kind of don't. Like always having $1,000 cash. I guess read the book. So Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover. It's really the best step-by-step guide to start. So Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Total Money Makeover, The Cheapskate Next Door, and then Tony Robbins' book, essentially. And yeah, Dave Ramsey, he's a funny guy. Go check out his radio show on YouTube. Alright, so the only book I have right now that I'm actually reading is Jeff Yeager's The Cheapskate Next Door. And This is one of those books I just saw, The Surprising Secrets of Americans Living Happily Below Their Means. So right there you can tell what this book's about. It's about people living below their means, saving their money, and really having financial freedom and the ability to retire at a early age. But this book really resonated with me because it's kind of how I grew up, and it's reinforced like some things that I've thought about that a lot of personal finance books say don't do, or you should always do, or whatnot. For example, in this book, he did like a massive survey of Cheapskate people, families, and most said that they don't have a formal budget. And to me, like every finance advice you hear is like, you got to have a budget, you got to have a budget. Well, a budget is for people who have difficulty managing their own money and they need to really discipline themselves. But if you're the cheapskate next door, like I am, I guess I call myself a cheapskate now, cheapskate, minimalist, whatever. You don't need a budget because you know what you spend and you know what you make, and you're always below what you make if you make a good amount of money. So it's like I've never had a formal budget, never. Like I don't need to itemize things. I know that if my savings account isn't growing every paycheck, something's wrong, or I don't know, I had a bunch of payments due, or like insurance, I don't know. But it's an interesting book because it's like, we all know these people that like, they hate to spend money. Like they are tight, but they're also probably wealthy, because of it. They're the people that, die with millions of dollars. Which is not the point. The point is to live well below your means, be smart about how you spend your money, and essentially be a cheapskate. Which has a negative connotation, but it's really not. So his book, Cheapskate Next Door, is more of a narrative. Just like it kind of goes by sections. There's some personal stories. There's little things here, but he talks about doing these little things that can save you $150, $200 a year, which isn't a lot, but you live 80 years and you do that, and you save $200 a year for 60 of those. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. Little things do add up. So yeah. Oh, that's close. All right. So wrap this up. 4 books I highly recommend. 2 of them I'm reading right now. So in order: Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, Dave Ramsey's The Total Money Makeover, Jeff Yeager's The Cheapskate Next Door, and Tony Robbins' Money Master the Game: The 7 Steps to Financial Freedom. And I probably butchered that title, but oh well, look it up. USMC Saxoki: Live Smarter, Live Simple, Live More Money. Saxoki Your Life. Go read a personal finance book. Go find one on anything. It'll be in a little section in the nonfiction section of your library. Go find one that looks interesting to you. Pick it out, read it, and hopefully it activates some things in your brain. Yeah. So we'll see you next time.